So these are the three editions given by Sun Microsystems. So mainly Java SE is for standalone applications. Java SE contains concepts, syntax, APIs related to core Java concepts. Java EE nothing but Java Enterprise Edition. Enterprise Edition is for developing technologies. Java EE contains a rules and guidelines to develop technologies and server softwares. And Java ME is nothing but Java Micro Edition. Micro Edition is for developing mobile applications, but it is outdated nowadays. Every company is using Android software to develop their mobile applications. So we will see a brief description about all these three editions in the coming classes. So next we will discuss about end-to-end web application. So what happens when end user is submitting some values? So for example, we will take a end user is a person. A person is giving his username and password from browser to our project. Whenever he has typing username and password, whenever he is submitting, whenever he click on submit, that username and password, those requests will be forwarded to our web project. Our servlet JSP will take that request and will validate by using core Java. This servlet JSP, struts or Spring or JDBC, JPA, Hibernate, everything is developed by using core Java. So core Java is main in our web project. Whenever username and password is request is forwarded to our web project, our servlet JSP will validate those username and password. If username and password is valid, then request will be forwarded to JDBC. JDBC is the concept of where we use request calls to our database. When the username and password given to JDBC will forward those requests to our database by submitting a queries, SQL queries. After that, after validating username and password, whatever the mails, for example, we will take as a mails, whatever the mails that client has in his mail ID, all those tables will be forwarded from the forwarded has a response from database to our web project. From our web project, response will be forwarded to browser. Then end user is able to see that page by using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So this is the end-to-end program where we use client-side programming and server-side programming and database. We will see a real-world example of all this in the next classes. Next we will discuss about with respect to diagram what we have discussed. A web project contains two parts, a client-side programming and a server-side programming. To develop client-side programming, we must use HTML, CSS and JavaScript or jQuery library. jQuery library is developed by using a JavaScript and their frameworks like Angular or React. To develop server-side programming, we must use programming languages like Java, .NET, Python, PHP, etc. Every language provides their own technologies for developing server-side programming. Java provides Servlet, JSP, Struts, Spring. Servlet JSP is a technologies and Struts and Spring is a frameworks. .NET provides only one technology called ASP.NET. ASP.NET is a technology, and as per diagram we can conclude end user will submit in good values using HTML forms. Then at server side, Servlet or JSP or Struts or Spring based program will read these input values and passes those through core Java programs. Then core Java programs will verify whether the given value is correct or wrong. If correct, performs calculations and generates result. If the given values is wrong, it will throw an error. After calculations, core Java program passes both the input and output values to JDBC. Whatever we have discussed by seeing the diagram, everything I have written in these slides, you can take it. After calculations, Core Java program passes both the input and output values to JDBC or JPA or Hibernate program. JDBC program will store input and output values in database tables. Conclusion. The role of HTML is preparing UI or forms and reports to read inputs and display outputs to end user. The role of servlet and JSP is reading inputs from the network and passes output via network. The role of Core Java is to perform validations and calculations with the given input values to generate outputs. The role of JDBC is storing data in database and for rendering, updating and deleting the data from database. This is a web project by using interoperable application with different languages. For example, end user is using a front-end technology with .NET and the backend we have a Java technology. So I want to communicate and want to give communication between this .NET and a Java programs. How? It is possible through XML and web services. XML is nothing but it compresses the .NET which the object is coming from .NET. It will take it and it will convert to Java and it will send through to the data to our backend program by using a web services programs. We have .NET web services and Java web services, everything. After the request is forwarded to backend, then it will hit to database, then response will be forwarded to backend. After that, response goes through XML. XML will convert, web services will convert the data of Java to .NET by using XML. After that, data will be visible to, response is visible to end user. A project that is developed by using different languages, that project is called interoperable application. An interoperable application can only be a web project. XML is a communication language between different programming languages for sharing data, input and output values. Web services is a communication channel between different programming languages. All languages will support developing web services based programs. Execution flow of an interoperable application. Just now we have seen a diagram and I have explained to you the flow of execution. We will see the points whatever we have discussed. End user submits input to .NET program. .NET program submits those inputs to .NET web services program. Then .NET Web Services program will generate XML document with given values and passes to Java Web Services, either given values or given object. Then Java Web Service program will read values from XML document, converts them to Java values, passes those values to Java program. Then Java program with help of JDBC technology stores those values in database. The same flow of execution will be happened in output flow.